Have you ever looked at the men around you, successful, accomplished, admired, and felt like something crucial was missing beneath all the surface-level achievements? These are men who wear suits, run businesses, raise families. Yet beneath it all, there seems to be an emptiness, a gap that status alone can't fill.
Nearly a century ago, Carl Jung, the father of analytical psychology, recognized this exact pattern. He saw that many men never truly mature on a psychological level. They grow older, yes, but remain internally underdeveloped. They carry the outward signs of adulthood, but deep within, they're stuck in a state of arrested development. Maybe you've noticed it in yourself, a nagging sense that, even though you've met society's criteria for being a man, something vital still feels unfinished. That unsettling voice that whispers, "There must be more." This isn't about muscles, wealth, or influence. Jung pointed to something far deeper, a profound inner journey that most men never take. A descent into the hidden recesses of the psyche, a confrontation with one's darker nature, and ultimately, a reunion with what he called the self. Jung believed that modern society had stripped away the ancient rites of passage, those transformative experiences that once turned boys into men. In their place, we now chase superficial achievements, diplomas, careers, shiny toys. But none of these touch the core of what it means to be whole. What we're left with are men who look the part but lack the internal foundation. They act out scripts written by culture rather than live from a place of authentic strength. Do you find yourself endlessly chasing praise, yet never feeling truly secure? Are your relationships marked by power struggles or emotional distance? These are not random flaws, they are the echoes of unfinished growth. Jung saw through the illusion. He knew the world was full of men trapped in their own personas. Men who have never dared to face the truth of who they are beneath the roles they perform. In this exploration, we'll dive deep into the psychological barriers that prevent men from becoming whole. And more importantly, we'll explore how to overcome them, how to step into the full power of authentic masculinity. This isn't about becoming some exaggerated alpha male caricature. Nor is it about rejecting masculinity altogether. It's about wholeness, balance, integration, becoming fully alive, becoming who you truly are beneath the expectations imposed on you. If you're ready to begin this journey, take a deep breath. But understand, the path ahead will challenge the identity you've spent years constructing. The truth is rarely comfortable, but it's the only way to real growth. First obstacle, the persona, living a lie. Jung identified one of the greatest hindrances to male maturity as the persona, the mask we wear to navigate social life. This outward image, crafted to win approval and avoid rejection, is not who we truly are. It's a role, a performance. The persona is what people see in meetings, on your resume, and in your carefully curated online profiles. It's the image of competence, stability, and strength. But when a man mistakes this mask for his true identity, he becomes hollow. He looks successful but feels empty inside. Look around. How many men in your life are merely acting out the part of the man instead of genuinely embodying it? How many have buried their authenticity beneath the expectations of others? The man trapped in his persona is often inflexible, preoccupied with appearances, and incapable of vulnerability. He says what people want to hear. He does what's expected, but he avoids real emotion and spontaneity like the plague. Outwardly, he appears strong. Inwardly, he's fragile. He avoids confronting his real self because he fears what he might find. If this strikes a chord within you, it's worth pausing. Do you feel safe only when you're following the script of what a good man is supposed to be? Are you terrified of who you might become if you let go of that role? Jung warned that many men spend their entire lives behind the mask, never stepping into their own story. Real growth begins when you recognize the persona for what it is, a social tool, useful but incomplete. Second obstacle, the shadow, embracing the hidden self. Beneath the polished image lies something Jung called the shadow, those parts of ourselves we deny, suppress, or find unacceptable. These aren't random flaws. They are aspects of you, emotions, instincts, desires, that you've buried because they don't fit the picture of who you think you're supposed to be. But buried doesn't mean gone. These disowned parts build up in your unconscious and gain power the more you avoid them. Jung called the shadow a moral challenge for the whole personality. As long as you avoid it, you remain split, cut off from your own vitality. The very qualities that could give your life depth are the ones you've been taught to reject. Vulnerability, uncertainty, emotional sensitivity. What you deny doesn't vanish, it festers, turns into anger, defensiveness, addiction, or self-sabotage. This is why men who appear unshakable often explode over trivial things or collapse under pressure. They're fragmented inside, and that fragmentation prevents real strength. Men who deny their shadow are often judgmental, rigid, and blind to their own contradictions. They can't see in others what they refuse to face in themselves. Their strength is brittle, their confidence defensive. Jung insisted that meeting your shadow is unavoidable if you seek wholeness. It's a painful but necessary confrontation. You must face the parts of yourself you've exiled and bring them into your awareness, not to indulge them, but to reclaim their energy consciously. This is the path to real power, not domination, but integration. Third obstacle, the mother complex, escaping psychological dependence. One of Jung's deepest insights into why men remain emotionally stunted lies in what he called the mother complex, a lingering psychological dependency on the feminine that keeps many men in a childlike state. Some men stay tethered to maternal energy, either by craving nurturing or by rebelling against it. In either case, their identity remains entangled in a childish dynamic rather than rooted in inner authority. This complex usually shows up in two forms: the eternal boy and the man bound to maternal influence. The eternal boy avoids structure, commitment, and discipline. He pursues pleasure and avoids limits, mistaking freedom for maturity. On the surface, he may look adventurous or alpha, but he's retreating from the real responsibilities of manhood. On the other side is the man who lives to please or oppose women, without ever finding his own center. He might be responsible and well-liked, but he hasn't separated his identity from the need for feminine approval. Neither has matured. As Jung noted, a man can only become whole by developing a healthy, conscious relationship to the feminine, one that moves from childhood dependence to adult integration. This means recognizing and integrating the feminine within your own psyche, your emotional sensitivity, empathy, and relational intelligence. Not to become less masculine, but to become more whole. Until this happens, you remain psychologically stuck, defined by unconscious patterns rather than deliberate selfhood. To break free, you must detach from both literal and symbolic dependency on the mother while still honoring the feminine's value. Few men walk this tightrope, and even fewer are shown how. Jung believed that ancient cultures understood this better. They initiated boys into manhood through ritual, challenge, and community validation. Today, that guidance is gone, and men are left to figure it out alone. The crisis of uninitiated men. Traditional rites of passage weren't symbolic, they were psychological milestones. They helped boys sever dependence, confront limitation, absorb male wisdom, and claim their identity among men. Without this, we now have generations of adult males who never crossed the threshold into mature masculinity. Their bodies grow up, but their psychology remains stuck in adolescence. Such men often struggle with boundaries, crave approval, overcompensate through aggression, or shrink into passivity. They idealize women or resent them. They fear their own masculine energy or wield it recklessly. And they seek substitute initiations through danger, addiction, or shallow conquest. But none of these lead to genuine maturity. Jung argued that in the absence of cultural guidance, men must now create their own rights. This means seeking wise mentors, embracing challenges that reveal your limits, learning from ancient masculine traditions, and surrounding yourself with men who support your growth rather than masked performance. Without this conscious path, men remain emotionally underdeveloped, operating from boy psychology no matter their age or accomplishments. And the tragedy repeats. Uninitiated fathers raising uninitiated sons, perpetuating the void. Fourth obstacle, disconnection from archetypal masculine energy. Jung's final insight points to the deep patterns of masculine growth embedded in what he called archetypes, universal energies within the human psyche. For men, 4 are especially crucial: king, warrior, magician, and lover. Most modern men are disconnected from these archetypal forces. The result is distorted masculinity, exaggerated in some areas, underdeveloped in others. The king symbolizes order, vision, and blessing. When this energy flows, a man becomes a source of structure and purpose. Without it, he becomes either a controlling tyrant or an indecisive weakling. The warrior embodies strength, courage, and disciplined action. Connected, he protects and acts with integrity. Disconnected, he becomes violent or passive. The magician is the bearer of insight, knowledge, and transformation. Healthy magician energy leads to awareness and innovation. In its absence, a man becomes either manipulative or naively disconnected from reality. The lover connects a man to passion, emotion, and beauty. Properly integrated, he brings depth and intimacy. Without it, he either seeks constant stimulation or becomes emotionally numb. Jung believed that authentic manhood arises from balance. Most men overdevelop one energy while neglecting the others, creating lopsided versions of masculinity. To reconnect with these archetypes, men must engage with meaningful symbols, stories, and practices. Study myth and history, develop discipline, insight, love, and leadership. Reclaim the full spectrum of your masculine nature. Without this reconnection, men remain cut off from the deeper wisdom available in their psyche, blind to the energies that could complete them. The journey to mature masculinity is not a linear path or a checklist of traits. It is a profound inner transformation that requires courage, confrontation, and commitment. But those willing to walk this road will find what most never do: a self that is real, whole, and alive.